Hello friends, welcome back. This video we will discuss some more questions that are generally asked for IPMAT exam. And we have discussed some questions in the previous two videos, and we will continue the discussion. Before we begin, I would suggest that you attempt the exercise that is given already provided to you, and then come back and watch the video. The link to the exercise is given in the video description. So once you attempt the exercise and then watch the video, your understanding will become more clear, and you will find out where you have exactly gone wrong, so that you will not be making those same kind of mistakes in your actual exam. Right. We will go to the first question. So it is based on the instructions are given above. One of the statements below contains a word used incorrectly or inappropriately. Choose the option which has the incorrect or inappropriate usage of the word. So it is basically testing your vocabulary and your proficiency of the English words and how they are used. So you only need to go through the sentences and find out a word that is not used properly or that does not fit into the context of the sentence. Option one, when it is not too thick, the callus protects the foot from damage. So even if you do not know the meaning of the word callus, it's not a problem because you can guess the meaning. You should develop this ability to make an educated guess regarding the meaning of the word from the context in which it is given. So it is talking about some part of the body which is protecting the foot from damage. So when it is not too thick, the callus is protecting the foot from damage. Maybe some body part or something that is protecting the foot from damage. So we don't know. So let us think that there is no such problem here because grammatically this sentence is correct. There is no issue. The only problem is we don't know the meaning of the exact meaning of the word callus. Now, second statement is a buildup of the callus is one of the most common causes of discomfort. Again, it says that so callus is something that builds up in the human body. It causes some discomfort. So it must be some part of the human body. So from these two words, we can guess that calyx is something that is a part of the human body or some body part that is growing or that is building up. Something is there which is causing discomfort. So far no problems. Both the sentences seem correct. Option C is he received 50 lashes on his feet delivered with callous indifference. So here there seems to be a problem. 50 lashes on his feet. So he got lashed on his feet 50 times and delivered with callous indifference. If callous is a part of the body, how can it be a pronoun? Indifference is a noun. Indifference means insensitivity or lack of care. That is indifference. So callous indifference is how can a body part be used to describe the indifference? So it cannot be used as a pronoun. So what should be the correct word here? We have some other word which is actually very prompt here, which is callous, C-A-L-L-U-S, O-U-S, callous, C-A-L-L-O-U-S. What does this callous mean? Callous means the careless or without any sensitivity or without any concern. That is careless. So it is callous indifference means without any care or without absolutely insensitive or absolutely unconcerned. So here the word callous is the correct word, C-A-L-L-O-U-S, not C-A-L-L-U-S. So this seems to be the wrong thing. So we will keep it as an answer. Option D, the doctor examined the callus but neglected to treat it. Again, it is talking about a body part. So, of the four sentences, three are talking about callus as a body part, C-A-L-L-U-S, and one is not used in that sense. It is used as a pronoun. So, to describe the noun indifference, so callus, the correct word is C-A-L-L-O-U-S. So, this should be the answer because where the incorrect usage is there. This is correct. So not our answer. Here this is correct. So not our answer. Here also this is correct. So not our answer. So this will be the answer. So this we have found out even without knowing the exact meaning of the word callus. Now for your information, callus means a thick layer of skin that is usually built up on your hands and feet. When you work with your hands and feet, it is known as callus. That is why we have calloused hands. Calloused hands means hands which are very rough because of the buildup of the skin, or the skin becomes very thick. That is called a calloused hands. So here callus, callus means a thick layer of skin. So that is for your information. So even without that knowledge, we were able to find the answer. This is how you have to go through the process of finding the answer, even when your vocabulary is limited. So use your logic and then try to find out the answer. All right. The next question. He used a fan to diffuse the smoke that had accumulated in the kitchen while cooking. So some smoke had accumulated in the kitchen and he used a fan to diffuse it. So what should be the meaning of diffuse? It is to drive away, to spread or drive away. That is diffuse. So here there is nothing, no problem here. This is a correct usage. Option B, every morning the aroma of freshly baked bread diffuses throughout the house, as again spreading throughout the house, enticing everyone to the kitchen. So the aroma of freshly baked bread attracts everyone to the kitchen because it is very tantalizing, or it is very appetizing. So here also the word diffusing means spreading throughout the house. So not a problem here. It is a correct usage. Option C, realizing that the argument between the two groups of students was getting out of control, the teacher diffused the situation. So can the word diffused be properly used here? Diffused is spreading, or it is being spread in that particular area. So how can a teacher diffuse the situation by quickly changing the topic? So the word is not a prompt here. What should be the correct word here? It is diffused. D-E-F-U-S-E, diffuse. Diffuse means to reduce the gravity of a situation is known as a diffuse. So there was an argument between two groups of students. So students were becoming very violent. They were too much into the argument. So the groups were getting carried away, and it was becoming out of control. It was, and the teacher sensed that the argument is now going to be a blow of physical exchange of instead, rather than an exchange of words, it would become a physical exchange. So in order, so at that time the teacher changed the topic so that the situation was brought under control. So that word is defuse, D-E-F-U-S-E. So that is to bring something under control, to reduce the gravity of a situation. That is known as defuse. Here the proper word is not D-I-F-F-U-S-E but D-E-F-U-S-E. So this could be a probable answer. Option D, the stained glass diffused the light filtering through the windows. So diffuse means again spread. So when light filters through the stained glass, what will happen? The light will spread into different colors. So that again, the word diffused is properly used here. So uh, except for C, all other statements, the word is correct usage is there. Since it is correct usage, it's not our answer. We need a wrong usage of the word. So option C will be our answer. Question number 3, bans provide the community a chance to raise objections and ensure transparency. Means when there is a ban means what? When there is a prohibition. So when something is prohibited, will you have the chance to raise objections and ensure transparency? No. When you are prohibited from speaking out, you cannot raise objections and ensure transparency. So bans provide the community a chance to raise objections is not a proper sentence. So this could be an answer. Keep it in your mind. Option B, organic farming bans the usage of all pesticides. So here prohibits. So when you are doing organic farming, you should not be using pesticides, and it involves manual weeding. So here the correct usage is correct. Since it is correct, it is not our answer. Option C, the government bans anyone with irregularities in their passports from traveling abroad. So any problems are there in your passport, you are prohibited from traveling abroad. So here also the usage is correct. So not our answer. Option D, the Child Marriage Restraint Act bans the marriage of those who are below the age of 18. So as per this act, people who are below 18 years of age are prohibited from getting married. So the word usage is correct here. Since it is correct, or it is not our answer. So the correct answer is option A, because bans are not going to provide the community with a chance to raise objections. When there is a ban means there is a total prohibition on your action. So you cannot raise objections, and there is no chance to ensure transparency. So this is your answer. Question number 5. The summer holidays. During her summer holidays, she usually went to the village to stay with the grandparents and her large extended family. So she goes to stay with her grandparents during holidays. So there is no problem in any of the words here. So this seems to be a correct sentence. So this will not be our answer. Option B, she said, I will always stay awake late the night till my daughters come home as I worry a lot about their safety. Again, not a problem because staying awake is a correct expression. So say this seems to be a correct usage. So not our answer. The ownership of the property went to the eldest son of the family, but the other siblings went to court and uh, asked for a stay order. What is a stay order? An order which stops any action and retains the status quo is known as a stay order. So whatever actions are being done, no further action should be done. It should be retained at the way in the way it is. That is called a stay order. So here there was a property dispute, and because of the dispute, the eldest son of the family went to the court and obtained a stay order. Means no further actions on the disposal of the property should be taken until the court decides on the matter. That is a stay order. So this also is the usage is correct here. So not a problem, not our answer. Option D, due to the ban on slaughter of cattle, the neglected ones often stay away, wandering into the fields and eating the crop. So here it says that cattle slaughter is banned. So what will happen to the cattle that are intended to be slaughtered? They are neglected because they cannot be of any use. So what they will do, they will go away and wandering into fields eating the crops. So here, staying away is it the correct word? No, it's not the correct word. The correct word is stray. STRAY. What is a stray? A stray dog. You might have heard about a stray dog. Stray dog means a dog that is not owned by anybody is known as a stray dog. So any stray animal means an animal that is neglected and it is not owned by anybody because it is for no use for anybody. So the people will discard it or they will start neglecting it. They will keep these animals away from their homes. So such animals are known as strays, STRAY, stray. So what here when the cattle that is of no use to the owners and they are given for slaughter. So since there is a ban on the slaughter cannot be done. So the animals are neglected. They become strays. And strays, what they will do, they will wander here and there, and they will start eating the crops. So here the correct word is stray, not stay. So this is option B is the answer because the usage is not correct here. Number 5, the rules of the organization proscribes members from engaging in conflicts of interest. What is proscribing? Again, prohibiting or banning. So the same thing that we have discussed in the previous question. So the rules of the organization is proscribing means prohibiting members from engaging in conflicts of interest. Means when you have, what is a conflict of interest? When you are holding a position, you should not be holding another position which is directly in conflict with the objective of the position that you are holding. That is called a conflict of interest. For example, you are the governor of Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India is a bank that is supposed to regulate the banking industry. At the same time, you cannot be the director of a commercial bank because commercial banks are supposed to be controlled and scrutinized by the Reserve Bank of India. So when you are a director of a commercial bank, what is your interest? Your interest is to make further profits to increase the profitability of the bank. Whereas as RBI governor, what is your role? Your role is to see that whatever banks are doing, they are as per the rules and regulations, and no bank is doing anything legal or anything that is not correct or unethical. So when you hold these two positions together, you are actually having a conflict of interest. So that is why organizations prohibit people from having engaging in positions that are conflicting with each other. So the usage is correct here. Since the usage is correct, this is not our answer. The coach prescribes late night parties before an important game. Again, the same thing. So before an important game, the players need to be rested properly. So the coach is prohibiting any late night parties. So the usage again is correct here. So not our answer. The company's policy prescribes employees from disclosing confidential information to unauthorized individuals. So company's policy says that employees should not be disclosing sensitive information to outsiders or any other unauthorized individuals. So again, the usage is correct. So not our answer. Option D, the software manual prescribes step-by-step instructions for installing and configuring. So here, what should be the correct word? It is not prohibiting. The manual should tell the or manual should give the details regarding the step-by-step instructions for installation. It should not be prohibiting step-by-step instructions. So here the this word is used incorrectly. The correct word is prescribe. 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 Prescribe means to give the details or to list out the details. That is called a prescription. So that is why doctor's prescription means doctor listing out the medicines that a patient has to take to cure himself of a disease is known as prescription. So prescribe is the correct word here, not prescribe. So this is the option that we are looking for because the usage is incorrect here. So option B will be your answer. Question number 6. The sound of laughter and loud music from the neighbor's house disturbed his train of thought as he was writing his farewell speech. So there was some disturbance from his neighbor's house, and because of his which he has train of thought. What is a train of thought? The flow of his thought or his uh, the flow of thinking that he was having while he was writing his farewell speech. It was disturbed. So train of thought is a correct usage here. So since it is a correct usage, this is not our answer. Then option B, if you really want people to see the landscape and the scenic countryside, it is better to take a train or to go by road rather than by plane. So then there is nothing wrong here. It says that if you want to see the landscape properly, it is better to take a train or go by road. So no problem here. So it's not our answer. Option C, by following the train of blood on the platform, the police located the body of a young woman who had been brutally stabbed. So, say that the police followed the pattern that is formed on the platform. Or here, the train of blood is not the correct answer. It is trail of blood. Trail means the pattern left behind by a liquid that has been dropped is known as trail, or the pattern formed by a flow of a liquid. Or when you are stabbed, what will happen? The blood will start dripping from your body. So when you move, the blood will also leave a trail. Means a path that somebody can follow to see where you have gone. That is known as a trail. So here it is the trail of blood on the platform. The police located the body. So by following this trail or the path created by the drops of blood that the young woman was shedding. So it was useful for the police in locating the body. So the word should be trail. So here, this will be the correct answer, but we will have to check the last option also. My friend has picked up a stray dog from the street and is now looking for somebody to train and domesticate the animal. So we have already seen the meaning of the word stray from the previous question. So it is used correctly. And looking for somebody to train and domesticate. What is domestication? Making it a animal that is obedient to human beings. That is domestication. Domestication means a wild animal is trained to obey the commands of human beings. That is called domestication. So here, this usage is correct. Since the usage is correct, this is not our answer. So very clearly, option C is our answer. All right. So that set is over. Now the next set is talking about para jumbles, where you are given some 4 or 5 sentences. You have to arrange the sentences properly to form a logical paragraph or a passage. That is what you have to do. So for the first step is you have to read and understand the statements correctly. Then you have to form connections between the statements. Once you form connections between the statements, you can try to arrange them logically to form a paragraph that is meaningful. That is what you should read. So first we will read the sentences one by one. By contrast, in America, it is estimated that even after post-COVID decline, the total giving came to over almost 500 billion in 2020. So we are talking in this passage, since we have already attempted the exercise, you know that this passage is talking about giving or charity. Or what is giving? The word giving, as used in the passage, is talking about the charity or the donation that people give for charity is known as giving. And in 2022, in America, $500 billion were given out as charity. And there are no comparable data on different countries, but one report by Dasra, a Mumbai-based NGO, estimates total private giving in India. So it is talking about the charitable donations in India in 2022 to be $13 billion. Then a strategic sort of giving involving philanthropy professionals and long-term lens. What is philanthropy professional? Professionals engaged in the area of philanthropy or helping others by through charity and raising funds is known as philanthropy. So there are professionals who are engaged in this particular field of uh, uh, field of social support known as philanthropy professionals. So they will be helping in organizations in raising funds for charity and for other welfare purposes. So such people are involved in this charity, and there is a long-term lens, means a long-term objective. So it is not just for one or two short-term objectives. It is with a long-term approach they are doing it, and a big ambitions of transforming society is gradually emerging. So the long-term lens is to transform the entire society through charitable donations. So that is emerging and differs, of course, between countries. So this seems to be a good opening sentence because it talks about the idea that is stated in the passage. So we will, for the time being, we will keep three as an opening sentence. Then researchers at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences put giving in China's 21 billion. So all the other three sentences are talking about donations made by various countries. So first we have about India, we have about China, we have about America. Then any measure, however, organized philanthropy across Asia is on a much smaller scale than in the West. So this could be the last sentence because it summarizes the entire thing by saying that organized philanthropy across Asia is smaller than in the Western countries. So we will think of it as a last sentence or as a concluding sentence. Now we have three sentences that talk about the amount of charity given by India, China, and USA. So how we have to rearrange it, or how we have to find the connection. See, in the first sentence, the last line is it differs, of course, between countries. So the giving or the charitable donations are differing between countries. And the second sentence, what is given, there are no comparable data on different countries. So the idea about the differences in charity between countries is carried forward in these particular statements by saying that there are no comparable data. That means there is no data that we can compare with each other between countries exactly. But one report by one organization say that India is about $13 billion. So we can think of it as the second line because there is a connection between 3 and 2. Now, which one will be there? Here you have four saying China having 21 billion, and one's having America has having uh, 500 billion. By contrast, so in contrast to maybe India or China, in America you have 500 billion. So India you have $13 billion donation, China you have $21 billion donation, whereas in America, it is $500 billion donation. That is why in the last concluding sentence, you have Asian countries are donating on a much smaller scale than in the West. So, what can we think about, or what can we see as a probable answer? We can say that after that, we can say four is the next one. It talks about China. Then, by contrast, in USA, it talks about in America, it is $500 billion. That is why philanthropy in Asia is a much smaller scale than in the West. This seems like a good answer, but uh, read it carefully. There is a problem. What is that problem? See the last sentence. By any measure, however, organized philanthropy across Asia is a much smaller scale. So if you say that in India it is 13 billion and in China it is 21 billion, by contrast in America it is 500 billion, then what is the need to say by any measure, however, organized philanthropy across Asia is on a much smaller scale? If you state it like this, it is very clear that philanthropy in India or in Asia is smaller than in USA. So the word, however, is not relevant if you have this kind of arrangement, because if this is the arrangement, we can say that by any measure, organized philanthropy across Asia is smaller than this. On the that itself will suffice. But here there is a word, however. So what would be the relevance of this word, however? So we have to think about a different combination. So three is correct because it is talking about the introduction. Two is also correct because there is a very clear connection between three and two. Then we can think about another combination. By contrast, means by contrast to India, America is having a $500 billion donation. So 3 to 1. Then if you think about talk about China, what we are saying? We are saying that China is having $21 billion. So India has only 13 billion. But in contrast, America has 500 billion. China has 21 billion. Then we can say by any measure, however, means even though China has a higher donation than India, still the countries in Asia are having a smaller donation percentage than the West. That is where the however comes into play. So if you have this kind of arrangement, the word, however, becomes meaningful because we say that first introduction about there is no comparable data, etc. Then we say that in India, the charitable donation was 13 billion in 2022. By contrast, in USA, it was 500 billion. China donation was 21 billion in 2020. Means India, it was only 13 billion. China had a higher level of 21 billion. Even though China had a higher donation of 21 billion more than India, by any measure, means whatever way you measure it or whichever countries you take, notwithstanding the fact that China has a higher donation than India, that is what is meant by the word however. Means, however, means even though China has a higher donation than India, organized philanthropy in Asia is on a much smaller scale than in West. That is why the word however becomes relevant. Otherwise, if you say that India has 13 billion, China has 21 billion, USA has 500 billion, there is no need for this word however in the concluding sentence. You can say that by any measure, organized philanthropy across Asia is on a much smaller scale. So the word however will become relevant only when you talk about China after we talk about India and the USA. Because in contrast to India, USA has a higher donation and China also has a higher donation in contrast to India. Still, the philanthropy, or however, the philanthropy, organized philanthropy in Asia is at a high, smaller level than the West. So that is why 32145 is a better organization than 3245. So this is why every word is important. So this is a slightly difficult question. Many people will go for the answer 32415, but 32145 is the better answer because of this particular word, however. I hope you got it. Now go to the next one. Next one is comparatively simple. It is talking about lightning, people dying from lightning, and then the dangers, people not ignoring the dangers of lightning, and people demanding compensation for lightning strike, people getting killed in lightning strikes, etc. So here, what would be the first sentence? See, it introduces the statement. The third sentence, Minister for Disaster Management announced that over 2,500 people have died after being struck by lightning. So this is the first sentence which introduces the subject of lightning strikes and deaths. So we can say that three is the introductory sentence because it introduces the subject of lightning strikes and the deaths due to lightning strike. And then what we can say, so here it is talking about warnings. Warnings will come into play after the minister saying that dangers of lightning pamphlets regarding the dangers of lightning have been distributed to the villages. So, the people, however, even though the pamphlets are distributed or the administration is trying to make people aware about the dangers of lightning, people ignore the warning. So we can say that 4 and 1 form a sentence pair because 4 talks about the distribution of pamphlets, warning of the dangers, and 1 talks about farmers ignoring the warnings. So we can say 4 and 1. So 4 and 1 form a sentence pair, right? You can write 4 and 1 here. Now, if 4 and 1 forms a sentence pair, after 3, what should come? 2, because 2 is talking about the compensations being demanded by families who have been killed by lightning strikes. So after the announcement, we can say that people of some states are demanding compensation for those families who have been killed, and the minister is responding to these demands. The minister responded means, or when these demands were made, minister said that we are already telling you or warning you that you should stay away or you should take precautions. You are not taking precautions. So how should the government be held responsible? That might be the underlying logic or the underlying argument of the minister. So that is where you can say 3, 2, 4, 1 will be the sequence. 3 is talking about the uh, lightning strikes and deaths, then people demanding compensation and the minister's response to it, and why these warnings are ineffective. So 3, 2, 4, 1 will be the clear sequence. All right, next one. Next one is talking about the new social media or the effects of the new social media. What are the features of them? It is talking about the striking features of the new social media. And what are the striking features? People are or the social media apps are not giving content based on the viewing behavior, but the based on they are viewing content based on the users viewing behavior, not because of their social connections. So that is one aspect. Another aspect is people are now posting less and less items in the social media platforms. Another is debate is now moving to closed platforms. So people are keeping their opinions private. They are expressing their opinions only in very closed platforms, not directly broadcasting their opinions in social media where everybody can see it. So these are the features of the new social media. So what should be the first sentence? Two should be the first sentence because it says that striking feature of the new social media is that they are no longer very social. So this is why people are now not being very social in the social media behavior. So that, and what now once you talk about that, you have to talk about the what are the striking features of this new social media behavior where when people are keeping holding back things, they are not posting all their opinions or all their making all their private lives public. So, what could be the next sentence? Let us say that inspired by TikTok server data selected by this can we can think of it as a next sentence. Means after we talk about the first sentence, this is the main feature of the new social media because it is not based on US. So it is now the apps are giving content based on the viewing behavior, not based on the social connections. So that is a very good second statement. Then what could be the next statement? We don't know. But we can form a sentence, try to form a sentence pair. What is a sentence pair? See, debate is moving to closed platforms. And because of this debate moving to closed platforms, political campaigners are trying to win over private groups. So instead of political campaigners trying to appeal to the social media platforms, now they know that people are keeping their or expressing their opinions only in closed platforms. So they are trying to appeal to these closed platforms to win over the people. So we can say that 4 and 3 form a sentence pair. So if 4 and 3 form a sentence pair, where can we put one? We can put one after 5 because that is the next feature. Means social media platforms are no longer social. Uh, one feature is now it is the viewing behavior that is very important, not the social connections, and people are posting less. Meanwhile means while the companies are now giving the clips based on the viewing behavior, from the people's part, they are posting less. That is the meaning of the word meanwhile. So first, we talk about how the companies are addressing the content to the people. Second, at the same time, people are posting less. The number of posts have fallen down. Then the debate has come to started occurring only in the private groups. Because of this, what happened? There is a welcome consequence. Then political campaigners are now no longer airing their ideas in public groups. They are trying to tone down their message. They are not being very aggressive. They are trying to tone their message and then we're trying to appeal to the private groups. So 2, 5, 1, 4, 3 is logical because it 2 talks about the features of the new social media and what are the features 5 and 1 and why 5 and 1. 5 is talking about what the companies, social media companies are doing. One is talking about what the social media users are doing. So The word meanwhile is very important. Meanwhile means at the same time. So first you have to talk about five, then you say that at the same time people are posting. So meanwhile, then you talk about the sentence pair of 4 and 3 where debate is moving to close groups. Because of that, there are certain consequences which are very well considered. 5, 1, 4, 3 will be the correct sequence. Okay. Next question is again a simple one. So the arrangement of the questions in this particular exercise is like that. One complex parajumble is followed by a simple parajumble. So the time you consume more in a complex parajumble, it should be made up by the number less time you have to take for the less complex parajumble or the simple parajumble. So here this is very simple. It is talking about a microgravity environment. What are the effects of this by microgravity? There are both effects are only short-lived. So you have to talk about two effects. What are the two effects? One is the heart is interpreting this as an increase in the amount of blood, and it shrinks. Before that, what you say, your blood also tends to move towards the heart and head. So when your blood is moving towards the heart and head, the heart is interpreting this. This means the movement of blood towards the heart and head is interpreted by the heart as an increase in the amount of blood in the body and it shrinks. So we can say that 1 and 3 form a sentence where it talks about one effect. What is another effect? Another effect is talked about in the first sentence. The in space, actually, there should be a comma here. In space, with less gravitational force than on Earth, there is less pressure on your spine, and so it will get a bit longer, effectively making it taller. So this is the first effect in space. So here, the sentence is introducing that this happens in space. So no other sentences are doing this. So this could be a best introductory sentence because it says that these effects are happening to your body when the body is in space. So because of the less gravitational force, you have become taller. So this is the first effect. Second effect is your blood tends to move towards the heart. And when this happens, the heart is interpreting this movement as an increase in the amount of blood and it shrinks. So that is why that is a second effect, 413. And both effects are only short-lived. After a period of readjustment on arrival back home, the heart and spine return to normal. So this is the last sentence. So once the travelers come back home to Earth, both the heart and the spine readjust according to the demands of the body on Earth. So 4132 is the very easy sequence that you can find from this parajumble. So not a problem here. So this one again slightly complex, but if you read the sentences properly, you can very easily unjumble it. Talking about a kava. Kava is a muddy concoction. What is a concoction? A mixture. So it is made by grinding the plant's roots with the water and forming an earthy liquid. And it is this bringing of this liquid is having a lot of cultural significance throughout the regions. Which region it is not given yet. So this is why this cannot be a first sentence. And it also talks about this blissful state. So some blissful state or some state of total relaxation, which is almost like a bliss is happening after drinking kava. Kava. So this also cannot be a first sentence. So you have to see what is that blissful state referred to here. It is talked about here. A cigar taken from a bowl can lead to profound relaxation. That is bliss, right? A sort of numbness that trickles down from your mouth to your shoulders and spine. So after 4, you should space take 2. So 4 talks about the profound relaxation that you get after drinking kava. Then 2 says that this blissful state is a sort of peace for the way for the body and mind to uncoil from itself. So this 4 and 2 form a very good sentence pair. Then go to third sentence. Kawa called in Econa in Fiji, Awa in Samoa, and Sakao in Micronesia. These are known by different names in different countries. In Fiji, it is known as Econa. In Samoa, it is Awa. It is Sakao in Micronesia. Kawa has occupied a sacred role in Pacific countries for centuries. This is a good opening sentence. It is talking about Kawa and how it is occupying a sacred role in the Pacific countries. So 3 will be the opening sentence. Then can we say 3, 4, 2, Then because the one is talking in detail about how it is made and what is the cultural significance throughout the region. So first we talk about Pacific countries. It is why it is sacred. Then we talk about how it is made and why it is sacred throughout the region. The region means the region in the Pacific countries. So there is a direct connection between 4, 3, and 1. So one should come in between. So 3 talks about the introduces the subject by talking about Kawa, how it is sacred. Then it is talking about since the region is mentioned here and then how it is made and why it is deeply culturally significant. All is given here. So it is the idea in 3 is elaborated by the next sentence 1. Then we talk about how what happens or what is the effect of taking 1 or 2 swigs of power that is given in 4. And this blissful state is a way of finding peace that is given in 3, 1, 4, 2 is a very clear sequence that forms a logical character. So that's the end of this particular exercise. I hope you have found the explanations to be useful in understanding and in finding methods to that you can apply in your actual exam to find answers. If you have found the video to be useful, please like, share, and subscribe so that I get motivated to come out with further videos. Thank you. Bye bye.